So, my earlier video that I shot, titled Thoughts, that was this morning before 2. We, since then, have had our update, and our situation is changed. We're now at let me give you an exact count. I got the cell phone here. It'll help me figure all that out. It went up drastically, which everybody, you kind of got to know that it's going to, because like I said earlier, now the testing sites they've shut down and they're going over the backlog of tests that they do have. You're going to see a huge influx now that they're able to start testing and figuring out the results of those tests. So right now, as it sits, we're at 351 cases that are confirmed and still at just 3 deaths. I say just, but it's probably going to get a lot worse. So right now, it's at a low level of 3. There's a list here that... So we were put under a stay-at-home order, which is, putting it kindly, which is a shelter in place. The governor is gone through, and yesterday, and he said that the decisions that we make for today and tomorrow can affect the outcome of this greatly, and he's right. But how he's gone about doing this, in my opinion, is absolutely 100% the wrong way of doing it. And again, that's my opinion on it. In my opinion, I guarantee you will vastly differ from other people's. But the fact of the matter is that if you don't implement a lockdown or an order to keep people off the streets, so they're just essential. And what I mean by essential is I mean law enforcement, EMS, grocery, banks. And the grocery and banks can be at different hours. I mean, you can have those set up to where they're only open for 3 to 4 hours a day. Yeah, that's going to create hysteria for the first few days. But after those first few days are over with, people are going to be like, okay, well, now I know that I need to get to the bank by 10 because they're going to close at 2. Or I need to get to the grocery store because I know that every night they're getting a shipment in to resupply. So I know I need to get there when they open at 10 because they too close at 2. So you have to balance those two situations out. I mean, do you choose one day to go to the bank and one day to go to the grocery store, or do you become the doomsday prepper person and go every day to both of them to create that problem? Basically, his idea of a stay in order that's going to work is to kindly tell people that what he's told people so far is basically what we're going to continue to do, but instead of it being asked, it's now ordered that we do those things. So he's still keeping open fast food. He's still keeping open restaurants, both for carry-out only. He's still mandating that machinery shops and there was a list of them on here. He tells you the essentials through the Homeland Security Act, which gives you the basic rundown of what the government deems essential to everyday life, which are law enforcement, hospitals, grocery stores, banking, stuff like that. So what that basically means is if you follow the Homeland Security's protocol for essential life, everything is shut down but the stuff that keeps everyday life functioning. Not lavishable, not livable, not something that you would buy a postcard and send a letter home to your friends and family to, but what's essential for the maintaining of everyday life. Basically stating that law enforcement, like I said, keep saying law enforcement, hospitals, banks, groceries. For people to be comfortable, sustainable, I guess is a better word. And man, I wish I would have copied and pasted this so that I had it. But it goes through and lists every job that's open, that's still open, remains open. You can still go to Walmart. You can still go to McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. You can still go to all these places. Hell, he's even telling people it's okay to go out and go to the park. You just can't go to playgrounds. But you can take all your kids and family and go to the park if you got to get out of the house. You still have to, if your employer mandates it, then you're able to go to work. And some of these people in these comments are sitting there asking, well, I work at a tire changing place and we still have to be at work. That's not essential. It's not essential if you work at a bed spring manufacturing plant. It's not essential if you work at an office building where you're in charge of filing home loans, or you're in charge of if you like it. It's so difficult because at this point, if you're going to let that kind of stuff happen, then you might as well just let the bars and the restaurants open back up, and just tell people you have to be at a capacity. Like you can only let 20 people in. Because basically what you're saying is that it's okay to go to McDonald's and sit in the drive-thru and have somebody on the inside that you can't watch make your food for you. And then they give it through you to a window, and you drive off, you get home, and the next thing you know, they may have snotted on their hand or wiped it on a French fry container, and you catch it that way. In order for it to be a successful lockdown, or even a successful stay-at-home, they keep talking about wanting to flatten the curve. You're not going to do it like this. You have to go drastically like what they're doing in California and in New York, where they're telling people, stay home, don't go out, don't go to work. Right now we're putting together a package in Washington that's going to supplement your income. You're going to be able to be okay. And if you have to go out, make sure it's just to the grocery store to check on loved ones, to make sure that places are still okay that you're invested in, but not to lollygag at them. Don't go to the parks. Don't hang out around groups of people. Don't be around people. Don't go to fast food places. Don't go to damn. Just go home. Be at home. You're safe. You're safe. If nobody's sick in your house, then you're safe inside your house. The most frustrating part of it, and the reason I'm so invested in this is because I meet like 3 of the 5 criteria for being susceptible to being sick. And now imagine if everybody at least had 1 or 2 of these problems, these pre-existing medical conditions, everybody would feel the same way. But that's not the case. What you have my generation of people who are in their early stages of their 40s and on up, who now face, for whatever reason, type 2 diabetes or heart problems or prior medical conditions that are leaning them to where they should be safe or feel like they need to be safe. And then you have the other group of people that are never have to face that, or haven't had to face it yet. And so they think that they're immune to it, or that it doesn't apply to them. It applies to everybody. It applies to everybody. The fact that we've got law enforcement and healthcare workers and EMS and hospital staff and those people still going at it, that's because that's what they get paid to do. They are put in charge of making sure that, 1, we follow rules and regulations, and 2, to make sure that we're alive, to fix us when we get screwed up. And imagine how much easier their job would be if they didn't have to deal with people that thought that it was okay just to go out because I gotta go out. Nobody's gonna tell me to stay at home. Or, well, I think I'm sick. I think I have a little bit of a cough and a tiny little fever. You gotta give these people space to work and to do the things they want. Otherwise, it's just gonna get a lot harder. I promise you that. It's gonna get a lot harder. Again, March 22nd, it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock now. We've got 357 people that have become infected. More to come. Stay home, stay safe.